Welcome, welcome to the Thursday evening stream. So, I do these streams on YouTube every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. and every Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m. Sometimes I can't make the stream, so just check on my Facebook page or my website, rebekahmaroon.com, just to make sure that I am doing the stream. But normally I do them at those times. So I normally introduce the subject and then I open it for questions. And the way you ask questions is through Skype, and my Skype is Rebekah Maroon. So just friend me on Skype, and I can either call you or respond to your written messages on Skype. Yeah, that's it really. And this is a non-duality talk. If he wasn't clear on what this was, it's a non-duality channel. So if you aren't familiar with non-duality, what that is, then either listen and be lost, or listen, enjoy, or go and research it. I don't know. Somebody asked me why I sit quietly at the beginning and why I close my eyes. They thought it was a necessary part of the message. But it's just the way that this human is. And it's really bizarre because when you first get into this message, you kind of think this is escaping the human, escaping the character. And it turns out it isn't. It turns out it isn't about escaping any of this. Initially you hope it is an escape, a way out of this experience, but it's more like the human is more the human. It's more the way it is, naturally the way it is. And that's amazing. That's really amazing. That you, or the human, is perfect the way it is. Everything's just as it is, and there's nothing wrong with that. Right and wrong exist in the mind, in the intellect, and there isn't anything wrong. There's nothing wrong with right and wrong. It's just a way of us as humans being able to categorize things, sort things out, function easier, labeling things, this and that, right and wrong. The suffering of the human is that the mind, the thoughts, the ideas are true, that they are a truth, they hold the truth. Thoughts, intellect, mind hold the truth. This storytelling of the mind is the truth, is the reality, and that's the suffering of the human. Living as a character in a story, being what you are, takes no effort. There's no effort required in being what you are. It's naturally appearing. It's effortlessly happening. This is all effortlessly happening. And there's a relaxing in that. There's a freedom in that. Maybe that's the attraction to this message, to talk, to retreat, to meetings. Is the relaxation it offers in hearing that this is happening freely. It's that relaxation from being someone, from being in control, from being the operator of this experience of life. The end of you, this one in this center position. And this is all that is longed for, this dropping of you, where there's just life happening, just what's happening, just reaction, just thoughts, feelings, impulses, memories appearing. And that isn't going to happen at some point in the future. The idea of a future arriving is an idea appearing, a projection appearing, an image appearing. Life happening can only happen here, now. This is that. This is life appearing. And here, in life appearing, appears time, appears future, appears an idea of you arriving. Whereas right here, there is just this, just an arrival, just what is. I was reading an article earlier about, I didn't read it all actually, I started to read it, but I didn't read it all, about someone saying, what if Jesus was a woman and a mum, the Buddha was a mum, how different it would appear. Like, would they have time to go off and meditate? Would they have time to inquire into this nature of who they are? Would they abandon their children and go off to inquire? Apparently Buddha did leave his child, apparently. And they were saying, like, could a mum, could a mum, be enlightened? Could a mum have that time to sacrifice, to focus on this inquiry? I thought it was interesting, because all the records are of men, childless men. In a way, I left my first child, I left him. I went to an ashram for a month when he was a few months old. I was breastfeeding at the ashram, trying to save some of my milk, keep him producing the milk. It didn't work, but yeah. But it just feels to me that there's nothing else worthwhile than to discover what you are, what this is, the nature of this reality. All else there is pain and pleasure, chasing pleasure, avoiding pain. There can't be rest found in chasing pleasure and avoiding pain. And it seems like when the human gets tired of that, begins to see it's hopeless, it's never ending, nothing's doing it, nothing's working, maybe then they turn to inquire about the nature of this. And that may be turning to a religion. The most obvious thing available is religion, the most acceptable thing. But even in that inquiry into religion or spirituality, it's about me, it's about saving me, about me finding something. So this brings me to the title of this stream, which I think was always free. What is being spoken about in this message is total freedom, not pain and pleasure, not high, but total freedom. Freedom beyond what the mind can imagine, personal freedom, total freedom, something ungraspable, something beyond all things, all knowing, all concepts, all ideas, all feelings, all sensations, all experiences, all actions, all ideas, beyond everything, untouchable, unfindable, totally immaculate and free. If it's beyond all things, if it's beyond form, then how can it be found? How can you, this seeker, how can you find this? Because to find it would mean it's a thing that is findable and havable and knowable and nameable. So that immediately removes it from the realm of you getting it, you knowing it, you having it. It doesn't exist as something you could have or know. To the person that might feel depressing. To the seeker who wants to find something, that can maybe feel depressing. Hearing that you won't find it, you can't have it, you can't know it, you won't arrive there. But that means it's here. That means it's here. It's here. It's not a depressing thing. It's all there is. It's not a thing, it's all things. It's everything. For it to be havable, it would need to be limited, have edges where it stops. It means it wouldn't be this, it would be that. It would be definable, losable. It doesn't exist as a thing, a particular thing. It is all things, and yet it can't be found or discovered. The discovery of this isn't a personal discovery, which can sound crazy to the mind. If I can't discover it, who does? How can it be found? It's crazy to the mind, who feels as if it's in the driver's seat. It's the source of everything. This isn't discovered by someone or something. It discovers itself. It wakes up to itself. There is just itself. There is just that being everything. So this is what these talks are about. I never know what they're about, but they're about this, they're about this, they're about this. They're about everything. Somebody was saying, why are you silent at times in your talks? But it's like, this is speaking. This is speaking. This is speaking. You imagine I have something to impart to you, some knowledge, information I have. And it really isn't that. don't know anything about this. This is speaking. This is everything. And it's happening. So, yeah, I'll open for some interaction. Let me just go online. I mean, this is a miracle that this is happening. That life is happening. I know that can seem person's heavy and life is hard and all these stories. But imagine without that story, if that story wasn't true, it was just thoughts, then how would life be? Then it wouldn't be difficult or easy, it would just be live, happening, this appearing. It feels as if freedom is the easy bit. The hard bit is the addiction to the prison. Freedom is the prison appears and disappears. But the cup hides my whole face. Hi, Monica. I know I've told you this before, but I just love so much the way you communicate non-duality. It's so pure and fresh that I fall in love with this concept again and again. Thanks for sharing with us your passion. I'm glad that there's resonance with this. I'm glad there's resonance. It's just it's a reflection. It's a reflection of what you are. So there's no questions this evening. I had a few in the week, but I might have replied to them. Even though no one gets this, do you feel a freedom, though? No one gets this, do you feel a freedom, though? Do I feel freedom, though? This is freedom. This is freedom. What is being spoken about in this message is freedom. Ultimate freedom. Not as a state or a temporary experience, but ultimate freedom from states, from experiences, not from them, but from those appearing to be important or meaningful, or appearing to be your fulfillment. So yeah, this is total freedom from the changeful. Again, not from it as if not from it as if to say there is no changeful, but I mean freedom from that being you being changeful, from you being washed around in the washing machine, like freedom beyond everything. So we're taught that happiness is about acquiring things, about arriving somewhere where you have something. So we're striving to get to this point of getting it, freedom, this point of resting, of feeling loved, of feeling complete, of feeling whole. It's the freedom from that illusion, that dream, that you exist independently and you're moving through time to a final landing place. You will find love and happiness and wholeness and rest in this timeline of you, in this timeline of time. So it's total freedom. So this you, if it was about you, it would be temporary, because this you is temporary. It comes and goes. It's not a permanent thing. Just like everything else, just like pleasures and pains, they're impermanent. So yes, this is a total freedom, and it's right here. And this is about a discovery of that, or a revealing of that, or an uncovering of that. And I don't really know how that happens. It just seems to happen from the identity being all consumed, or consuming this time, you, reality, from that being the seeming experiencer, from thoughts being in charge, from what you think being the reality to the actual reality, where thoughts appear and disappear, where those thought stories appear like everything else appears, but that they're no longer held by anyone, no longer owned by anyone. And this isn't saying you can learn to not hold thoughts or not hold appearances. This isn't about you learning something, learning a new skill or acquiring some practice so you can get better at it, better at being more present, or better at being free from thoughts. It's about a dissolving, a complete dissolving or merging into what's actually happening. And that again isn't a time-based thing you can then do. It just seems to happen. This dissolving, this energy of identification, this energy of you being limited, you being as someone limited, as something when looked for. There can't be an edge. You can't find the edge. You can't find a position of where you stand. There is just everything happening. There are these words happening. The sensation of bum on seat happening. The temperature on the skin happening. The thoughts happening. The feelings happening. That's all there ever is. What's happening. Always free. This is always free. What keeps happening is a story appears of me. This is my life. I have a position in this. I own this. I claim this as mine. And when that appears, it's also totally happening freely. No one's producing that. It's just happening. Same as the feelings are happening, the sensations are happening. This dream happens. And if it was just a story, a thought, there wouldn't be a problem. Just a story's playing. But with that story is the energetical feeling that accompanies it, that makes it feel real, makes it feel heavy and true, makes it a three-dimensional experience of someone being here, of someone owning this. And I don't know what happens, but that energy can dissipate. Oh, sorry, Brian. Total freedom from being in this prison of being in me. That was written before I spoke, maybe, but so I don't really have any more to say on that, really. Total freedom. Thank you, Brian, for your question. That was a pleasure to answer. It felt pleasurable. I don't know why Skype keeps doing that. Okay, so I am back here Sunday at 10:30. So wish you well. See you Sunday. Bye.